Talk that matters. Johnny Vedmore on today's News Talk, TNT.
I recently went through the family history of Jordan B. Peterson in a show called Who Do They Think They Are? And I traced his line back to Carolingian and Merovingian kings and queens, as well as some other European elites. What do you make of Dr. Peterson? Do you think he's doing good work, or has he got another agenda?
No, depends on what you mean. Every time his name comes up, I can't resist trying to work on my impression and get it tweaked. I've done several podcasts and talks on Jordan Peterson over the last 6 or 7 years. I think that I have some criticisms, but I think he does good things too. So, there's certain areas where I would disagree with his takes on things, maybe foreign policy wise, his support for the stabbies. All of those things I disagreed with. I also was critical of his classical liberal philosophy, which he seems to kind of be shying away from some of that nowadays. So I think he's done some good with opening up people's thought to philosophical questions, problems that we have in the West. He's opened the discourse and dialogue about what a man is, what a woman is, masculinity, and all those things. I don't think he really has all the right answers, but he's at least raised a lot of questions and kind of shifted the discourse. So I appreciate all those elements. But I'm critical of sort of the Jungian philosophy too, that he's really wedded to. There's actually, I went through his personality course lecture, and he makes some great points, but there's also, again, some areas where I think there's some odd stuff. He's very also Freudian as well. So I would disagree and criticize those things, but yeah, he's, I take the good and try to focus on the good.
Yeah, it's really hard to because he's a character who's so mixed, in my opinion. And I've watched his Bible lectures, each of them maybe about 3 times. Watched his personality lectures probably about the same amount of time. And there's so much amazing information you can take from it all that I always try and tell people, just because you don't like somebody, listen to what they're saying, because they're often talking about other people's work. And in saying that, possibly on the negative, do you think that it serves the elites well to have someone warning about the risk of othering right now, while they other us as standard practice, and then we are not allowed to other them, if you get what I mean?
That's a good question. I would say, rather than that being maybe the concern, the element that, in my opinion, might play into elite designs that Peterson discusses or seems to have affinity with would be the things that we see where he has this kind of idea of an archaeology of ideas, that we can sort of go back into all the ancient religions and craft or come up with some kind of new future religion. I'm not saying he's necessarily intentionally doing that. That's his approach, but that might lead to people thinking, well, now what we need to do then is sort of create and concoct a new future religion. And so people in his sphere, for example, like John Vervaeke, he's very adamant about pushing what he calls silicon sages, where we're going to have a new future kind of, it's very close to what Noah Yuval Harari talks about in his Homo Deus, and this idea of an AI god, a sort of a god emerging from within in the machine, a Deus ex machina that would be AI. And it would be superior to all the other previous religions because it would be AI smushing all the religions together, and it could spit it out really fast or something. So I think the danger is more so, in my perspective, those elements of the Petersonian orbit sort of lending towards what H.G. Wells predicted would be a future world religion that would be concocted and created by the elite to foster the technocratic global governance. So that would be more what I would be concerned with in his the seeds of that in his worldview.
We're talking about seeds and Yuval Noah Harari. Do you think that that's what he's there for? Is he there to plant the seeds of what the elite want to see in the future? Does he actually believe these things himself as being the right way? Because he seems to warn about certain things while telling the elites who are doing those exact same things that that's what the future is going to look like anyway.
Yeah, I think he sees himself as a harbinger of this coming order, a kind of a John the Baptist of the technocracy, so to speak. I think I've got Homo Deus over there. It's just like all the other transhumanist elitist texts. It's this idea that, oh, we're all going to evolve into being, tech gods. This is promise it's given, but it's not actually for everyone. This is not for the masses. This is for the 0.001%. And so, yeah, I think it's total car salesmanship is what I would say. That's what his role is to be this. And maybe he's going to, again, promote the same things that Vervaeke promotes, which is silicon sages. This is basically the idea that there's going to be these AI gods walking around that you will defer to them. They will be like the I don't know, like archangels walking around that are going to tell you, who God is, what meaning is, what life is. But it's going to be what the elite program it to say. So it's not really going to even be some sort of decentralized, supercomputer information hub. It's going to be something, I think, that fits the elite designs. And again, we know that because one of the things I do is lecture through a lot of the texts of the power elite. We've lectured through about 50, 60 of these now, and they pretty much all kind of say the same thing. And one of the things when they talk about the future religion is that they want to have a controlled, created sort of shell religion run from within a technocratic elite, but has the appearance of smashing all the religions together and so forth. So I think that they're leaning towards thinking that the types of dataism, not data, the art movement, but dataism that Harari promotes, that can be the religion of the future. I think whether they believe or know that they're bullshitters, I don't know, but I think they do promote this as a real possibility for the future.
Yeah, it made me think when you were saying that there. Well, of course, I think about collective consciousness and the idea of people like Barbara Marx Hubbard and their idea of all us being united in one, in some form of cyberspace where our minds are all melded in, and we we own absolutely nothing, not even a body, and we're supposed to be happy.
This is Johnny Vedmore on today's News Talk TNT.